everybody, welcome back to the channel. So it is February of 2025 as I'm filming this, and there is a lot of work that's happened since my last layout update, but also we've got a lot of stuff planned for the layout and the train room this year. One of the things that we completed that we're going to talk about today is the shelving behind me, as well as some similar display cases around the train room, and some other things that I've completed since the last video. So let's get into it. All right, so probably the biggest update since the last video is the display case behind me. And there are two more, one on each side of the train room. And these will have plexiglass on them. But we'll talk a little bit more about how I built them, materials I used and things, and why a little bit later in this video. But for starters, I used Glen Snider shelving. And the reason I did that is because it's really sleek. I had a whole bunch of it already from a past layout. And it just kind of blends into the wall. So it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with how it came out. But you're probably asking, why am I doing this now, right? Obviously, there's a lot of work still to do on the layout. Usually the last thing people do is build display cases and shelving for trains. And the reason for that is a little complicated, but basically boils down to I had trains in a storage unit. I got tired of paying for that storage unit. It got very expensive. They kept raising the rate. And I said, I'd rather the trains be in the train room with me. Let's get them up on the wall. I enjoy looking at them. You know, some of these, especially some of like the brass pieces, things are works of art. So I bought them to run them and to look at them, you know, not necessarily to sit in boxes. So it makes me happy that we've got trains on the wall now. It's starting to feel more like a train room. So you can see here what the finished product looks like. We've got the plexiglass up. This is what the other two will look like when they're completely done. I just need to order the plexiglass, get it cut, and put the tracks up. But let's talk a little bit about the Glen Snider shelves. So for me, the reason I did that, I went with that shelving. I talked a little bit about it earlier, but what really makes this looks so good in my opinion and why I'm so happy with it is the shelving. It just disappears into the wall. So if I used 1-bys or some wood, it would still look nice. But to me, the Glen Snider shelves are really what makes it pop. And if you haven't heard, trains.com actually purchased Glen Snider shelves. So that's a recent acquisition that they made. They had some shelves at the Amherst show here recently. They now have those shelves up on their website. You can get the shelves, the end caps. I think even some shorter lengths are available that I saw. And all that's available at trains.com. You can use my code EricTrainman to save $10 off your purchase, $50 or more, and that helps support the channel. But I thought I would talk about a little bit about why these shelves are different than others. So I have some of these shelves that you see even here. I bought 20 years ago, and they have seen a lot of wear and tear, and they look just as good as they did when I first bought them. So really, in my opinion, what makes them unique is the satin finish that's on these. So one, it's not really shiny. It doesn't reflect light. So as you can see, I've got some lighting here. I want to highlight the trains. I don't want light reflecting back off the shelves. But two, and probably most importantly, is that satin finish as you're sliding trains right around, whether it's a door or you're reaching on a shelf trying to push something down and you're rolling trains across the shelf. Other aluminum shelves tend to scratch and wear and tear. These do not. That coating that's on here or that surface really protects the shelves and keeps them looking great for a long time. So I can't talk highly enough about how happy I am with these shelves. And ultimately, that's why I decided to put 450 feet of them around the train room. So how did I build these shelves? Again, if this is something that you're interested in replicating or doing something similar, reach out and let me know. Hanging these shelves is pretty straightforward. There's instructions online about how to screw these to the wall. Maybe what's a little bit different with mine is the boxes that I built around the outside. So these are 1x5s or 1x6s that are ripped down to 4 1/4. And then I bought, I'll put a link in my description, but I bought tracks for 1/8 inch plexiglass that allows these to slide. So there's no rollers or anything in here. These are just the plexiglass itself slides pretty easily, as you can see. And really the boxes that go around the outside are just secured to the wall with pocket screws. And they really just hold the weight of of the plexiglass. They're not holding the weight of the shelves or the trains or anything like that. All that is secured to the wall itself. If this is something you're thinking about, you know, one of the pros to consider and things to consider with plexiglass is really protection from dust. So if you've been around the hobby long enough, you know, everybody loves to put trains up on shelves, and sure, you're moving stuff around all the time, but it doesn't take very long, especially, you know, when you're working in the train room doing scenery and things, for dust to accumulate. So I went with plexiglass covers because if you look back on my videos of my past layout, you might notice that some of the trains on my shelving were really dusty. So this provides protection from dust, but also it allows me to take shelves to the floor. So I have young kids. I want to have my kids out here with me. I want to have, you know, kids from the community and cousins and things out here too. But I really don't want them grabbing stuff off the bottom shelves. So having the plexiglass all the way to the floor, you know, helps protect the trains from that side as well. So maybe a pro tip, if you're thinking about doing sliding doors, opening doors, I've done opening doors in the past, don't buy your plexiglass at Lowe's or Home Depot. So if you price it out there, it's $250 for a 4x8 sheet. Something like this, you're going to use quite a bit of plexiglass. So you can buy plexiglass from a distributor. Cast acrylic is what you want. And it's for an 1/8 inch piece of 4x8, it's roughly $75. So, you know, if you're looking to build a lot of shelves, you could save a lot of money there. But the best part is they will cut it for you. So you don't have to worry about chipped edges or anything like that. They'll cut it to the exact dimensions that you want. They'll even drill holes in it. So that's what I did with these, and it helped. So this shelf here is the third and final shelf. This is on the far side of the room when you come in. Again, it needs to have some plexiglass put on it, but otherwise it's pretty much done. I plan to use the top half for mostly sets, passenger sets like you see up here now, any engine overflow, and then the bottom half will be overflow of sets that are on other shelves. So, you know, some of my sets have 7, 8, 10 cars that won't all fit on one row, so they'll all be down here. Extra caboose, freight car sets, that kind of stuff. This will be mostly tucked away. One thing I wanted to point out is here you can see there is a seam that comes up. So these shelves come in 6-foot lengths, and if you have lengths longer than 6 feet, you'll have to cut a piece or have a piece cut for you and then join them together, which is pretty easy to do. I cut them myself because I had a lot of shelves left over from other projects. And so if you're going to be cutting a lot of these, you can use a hacksaw or something like that. I would recommend going to Home Depot or going on Amazon, buying a blade that is specially for aluminum or other materials. That's what I did. I put it on my miter saw, and you can cut a shelf just like it's wood in a couple seconds. So that made kind of cutting and fitting everything very precise and very easy. Next, we have this bridge. So this is a 48-inch Warren Truss bridge that was custom made from East Coast Enterprises. So you may see their booth at York. Stan is a great guy. So I drove up to North Jersey, picked up this bridge, and it's just sitting here now because you can see there's track just laying in it, but it's not installed. It's just sitting there for optics for now and temporary placement. So I had some special measurements for this. This is not a standard size, but Stan over there at East Coast Enterprises was able to build this, and it is awesome. I was pretty excited, to be honest with you, about the bridge that's behind it, but I am way more excited about this one now. There's just so much detail on this. It's truly incredible. So we'll get it painted eventually and installed permanently, but I'm really looking forward to running trains through and under this this awesome 48-inch bridge. So quickly, I won't spend too much time on this one, but I did permanently wire one of the loops and then started building the control panel here. So what you see is the start of the control panel. There are 5 Powerhouse 180 bricks here. I'm missing one that I need to get repaired. That is the 6th one that will go here. But basically each main line is powered by 3 bricks. So and each one has an individual block. So we've got 3 blocks on each loop. I did that intentionally. I didn't want to have to worry about, pulling too many amps on one loop, as I've got, 2 trains of passenger cars with incandescent lights, or, I've got 4 diesels going or something like that. It was a lot easier to just do it this way and future-proof it. And then 2 more bricks will go over here on the right side, one for the logging loop and one that'll power all the like roundhouse, sidings, turntable type stuff. So I went back and looked at my old video and realized I completely missed talking about this change that I made. So this will be a cutout that I made that is for a trestle. So this is the main line here in this section of the layout. And so it's 28 inches from here, the track, to this base. So we'll have a nice 28-inch high double track curved trestle. And as you walk in the train room, it's the first thing you see on your left. So I thought that would be awesome for myself and kids and other people that come to see, just right there as you walk in. All right, and last but not least, actually quite a bit of effort went into this, is these track lights that went in. So I actually put in 16 additional overhead wafer lights. So you can see there is a lot of lights in here now. One of the things I found is this black ceiling. Just obviously it's flat black, so it does not reflect a lot of light. And you need a lot of lighting in here. So I don't even know how many wafer lights I'm up to now, but I put in this track lighting here to help with shadows, and it really brightens up the engine area. So I'm super happy with that. I bought a ton of this stuff on Black Friday. So I think I bought like 60 track lights and like a couple hundred feet of, maybe like 150 feet or so of the actual tracks themselves. So this is just the first one that I put in, this kind of array, but it really pretty happy with it. It brightens up this area pretty well. I need to add some additional lights and adjust some things, but so far so good. So we'll have some additional track lights that go in later that, solve for shadows really all around the layout, all down the middle here, and will be on both sides of where the mountain is as well. All right, guys, that's really all I got for today. So let's run some trains. I have been having so much fun getting trains out of boxes and running big, long coal drags and long reefer trains and running stuff that I haven't run in a year or two. So let's share some of that with you guys. We've got a pair of decapods with actually a third pusher unit on the end pulling the coal drag, and I've been having so much fun with that one, and some other cool stuff to show you.